Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the 63rd Jacksonville Environmental and Appearance Advisory Committee meeting. I would like to call this meeting to order. If the members could review the agenda so we can
I make the motion that we adopt the agenda.
I second. Thank you. If we could vote to adopt the agenda, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you. If you have looked at the minutes of April 6th, our last meeting, and then when you're finished, if we could have a motion. We have a motion.
I make a motion that the minutes be adopted as presented.
Thank you very much.
Second.
Thank you, Daniel. If we could have a vote, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we have Arbor Day, and we have Mr. Michael Connors.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, let me just click through this here. As you know, we selected Northwoods Elementary School to do the Arbor Day 2023. It was a huge success. We had a great proclamation from the mayor. We had good representation from the tree board members. We had, I think we ended up planting 7 trees total from parks, so thanks to them. Got that out there. We had great participation from the students. Everybody was extremely happy. Today we actually went back to the school and presented them with a plaque from the mayor commemorating the day and that we held Arbor Day there and that these trees were planted and the children were involved. So really was a good time. Great turnout, large success. And again, this is our 43 years of Tree City USA recognition for the city. So we're excited about that. As you see, Mayor Phillips was there. He read the proclamation. He gave some comments, thanked the National Park Service for being there, and interacted with the students. And we had the students come through. Smokey the Bear made an appearance for us, so that was great. And we had the students themselves actually came up, and after Miss Rose read the dedicated poem for Arbor Day, the students in the class that actually did the artwork and maintained their greenhouse came through and read their own poem. So it was interesting to see these young kids so excited about the environment, about Arbor Day itself, and the efforts we do for conservation in the city. And just some more pictures there. Of course, Smokey was a big hit. A little hot in there. I don't think Smokey was ready to move around so much, but bears prefer some cooler weather. And that's the majority of the class there with Mayor Phillips that actually handled and started their greenhouse efforts and took part in the art drawings and decorations for the event. We also dropped them off a gift certificate so they can have a pizza party for those kids. So everyone's, pizza always goes over well for everyone, so they're going to enjoy that. There's planting the trees in the back. Those sites were picked out by our arborist, Mr. Jason Smith. And the breeds of the trees as well were, I think, specifically selected to flourish the best in that environment. So some good stuff there. Oh, look, there's our director right there. All right, there she is. Council. All right, getting some serious work in. And just with that, it was a lot of planning went in. Obviously, Derek did a lot. We got down there, made good coordination with the school. But just special thanks to the faculty and staff at Northwoods Elementary. That school has a very special schedule, and they got those kids in there. It was a smooth operation. For those who attended, those kids were super well behaved. I have employees that don't behave that well in the ceremony, so it was really good. Jacksonville Parks Department, thank you again, Mr. LaCory and Mr. Smith, for getting us the trees, picking up trees that I've never heard of, and putting them in the right spot, and bringing all the shovels and everything we needed to make that happen. It was a seamless event, and that's always what we look for. And just a special thanks to Human Resources, they came through and put together some really nice bags of what we like to call Jacksonville City swag. Some football, some cinch backpacks and whatnot. We dropped those off to the kids as well, so they can rep the city of Jacksonville with some pride, and they were excited about that. And media came through big for us. I mean, just a great presentation. If you didn't see the videos and the pictures that were put up across social media, just phenomenal work by that entire team. Not only did they help us advertise it going into the event, but they take care of us in all these meetings as well. So we're getting the word out. So we appreciate that to everybody involved. And Arbor Day was a success. And next year, hopefully we can find something to top this year. But that would be on mic. So, all right. And moving on, I think we're going into future development. Paulie?
And since we were just talking about Arbor Day, I noticed as I was walking through the atrium out here at City Hall, the artwork is actually displayed that the kids did. So they let us bring that back to City Hall, so it's actually displayed in the atrium.
Yep.
So with that,
Okay, wow, that was quick. It's open discussion.
oh well, no, I do have
Oh.
I do have a future development.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So I have March and April development update for you. We get this information from planning and just provide it back to you. This board does have a representative on the planning board, which I believe is Ms. Grace, right?
Yes.
So this is action that the planning department and the planning board take on development permits. And of course, one of the things that's a big part for this board in that planning development is the updated landscaping and streetscape requirements that we now have that we've talked about in the past. So in March, they issued 452 permits. That would be building permits. But some key permits that they issued are a expansion to the Onslow County Emergency Operations Center, which is right there in the Commons. They're actually going to construct a building behind the existing building where the parking lot is, and then slide that parking lot back. And then the dental office at Jackson on Gum Branch Road. So, and that's about a 4,300 square foot. In April, we issued 389 permits. The notable ones there are the Calvary Assembly of God on Gum Branch Road. They're proposing a 7,200 square foot gymnasium, a new Sheetz, because this town needs gas stations, at 3,100 Western Boulevard. That's actually immediately adjacent to the Burrito Shack. So if you know where Burrito Shack is, it's going in the vacant lot beside that. So it will make access interesting in that location, but I believe the Sheetz is working to put together a traffic plan to ensure good, safe movement through that area. And we have 3,500 square foot addition to the shops on Yop Road, the Bailey shops right there on Yop Road. Those are the shops that sit perpendicular to Yop Road that you drive in between as you go into Walmart or Lowe's. And then McDonald's is proposing a dual drive-through lane. This is the one on Marine Boulevard right up here. And they're adding a parking lot. I think that's it for current development. We would have had Mays ready for you, but we just didn't have all of the information gathered yet. So we'll have that for you at your next meeting. So of these, we have several expansions and updates to the site. And then of course, obviously the Sheetz and sorry, I forgot the other one, are brand new sites. So those will meet our current landscaping requirements. Thank you, the dental office. We'll have to meet our current landscaping requirements. Any questions on those? All right.
Now
We do
have-
have a few things for open discussion.
I just wanted to say it was so nice to have our Arbor Day celebration at the school. The children they were wonderful, and you could tell, and it just made it so much nicer than years before where we had to have it at the park and there was no participation. It's great to have the schools involved.
I think when we did the one we did at Northeast Creek Park was very nice.
Yes,
It
it
was
was.
beautiful scenery,
Yeah.
but we had us.
Right.
I mean, it was literally, I think, the people around this table and Carrie Terrell.
Right.
That's all we had. So it was very nice to be able to get back in the schools and see the kids participate.
Get those children involved.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, the school was extremely just humbled that we chose to do it there. They were very excited about it. So I don't think they really expected it or thought it was gonna be that big of a deal.
Right.
Super excited, so.
Is there any other discussion?
We have a few things.
So, this is sort of a late ad. Didn't want too late to really make an agenda item, but really wanted to get this in front of you guys. As you know, we have a stormwater litter control program that we've been running for several years now. Our stormwater manager, Pat Donovan Brandenburg, she kind of oversees it. And the shining star of that program is Mr. James Wheeler. So he is one of our employees now, formerly a volunteer, used to do it for free. But just wanted to take an opportunity to, brag on him for a minute, but also maybe show you guys what exactly it is that you're getting out of this program, because a lot of what happens in that program, no one ever sees. We might hear about it, but no one ever sees it, and we wanted to show you what that looks like. Just since May, he's collected 119 bags of trash during the month of May, and that's doing 20 hours a week, in some of the most austere conditions and that you can imagine here in town, outside in the creeks, in the streams, paddling along in his kayak. 119 bags of trash. That's what one person did in the month of May, and I think it's truly amazing. He covered over 6.5 miles of shoreline in the month of May. 460 bags of trash have been collected from our waterways and estuaries since January. And since the program began, over 13,000 bags of trash has been removed from our waterways here inside the city of Jacksonville. So that's a tremendous impact that one person can have. So if people don't think they can make a difference, let me introduce you to Mr. James Wheeler. So this is what he targets right here. So as you can see, illegal dumping. I know our citizens, they see it, but he's finding this stuff most of the time close to our waterways and behind tree lines. And I think Mike will be the first one to tell you that it's completely unnecessary to leave trash out like that in the first place, because we have the best sanitation division around. We'll pick anything up. All it takes usually is a phone call.
And get it to the curb. If you get it to the curb, we'll make it disappear.
So it's really heartbreaking when you see some of these pictures. It's why. It's I don't know if the word's not getting out. If they think they got to fit everything in a trash can. If not, you got to go make it disappear some way. Well, it doesn't disappear. It goes somewhere, and people find it and people pick it up. So, we have abandoned homeless camps that he comes across every now and then. Now there's a social element to that that's not inside our purview, but as you can see, the trash definitely is. So And this is inside city limits. And this is unfortunately, it's fairly routine for him to come across old abandoned homeless camps where, a lot of trash is just left. And there's an active one. So that's what it looks like. So now when this photograph was taken, I don't think that person was there. But as you can see, it's a problem. It's a problem that he deals with routinely, and our Jacksonville police deal with routinely. So it exists, and right on the other side of these trees are businesses, so and waterways again. So that's how we're coming across them, trying to keep this stuff out of the river. And this is right next to the rails of trails going down that power line section of the trail right there off of Gum Branch. There's more illegal dumping, and again, not necessary. And maybe it's someone that's maybe not a city resident, but this is stuff that we're finding and we're picking up. And that's again one person. So it's I commend him for the work that he does. A lot of times thankless, but this is what we get out of it. So I probably should have gave you a before and after picture of this little fork in the water here, but that's clean water. That's or at least free of trash and debris from all of that carelessness. So that's what we get out of that program, and it is making a tremendous impact. So I just wanted you guys to have the opportunity to see what that program is, what it targets, and what we're getting out of it.
And Mr. Wheeler actually is one of the ones that came and volunteered when we had that group cleanup. He actually came out, brought his own trash can and trash bag,
And a professional.
and helped on his time off, where he did that as a committee member. I think he's on one of the other boards.
Used to be on this board.
Yeah, so he's a true asset for Jacksonville and an ambassador.
They're a quiet man, they don't brag either.
He does. I have a question. Do anyone ever get a fine for?
If we can catch them. If we can catch them, they do. And I think Mr. Wheeler probably is at the point where he just picks everything up and bags it. But if we find bags, like when Michael was in sanitation, if we found illegal dumping or something like that, we'd actually try to go through the bag and find receipts to see see if we could go after somebody.
Yeah,
So yes, we do that.
and we've done a lot with trying to catch the license plates as well. If we can catch them on the license plates with illegal dumpings, it's so much easier for the PD team to run them down. And there's not much they can say about, because you have them trespassing on property after hours, it's easy enough to track them down that way. Receipts and whatever else, there's a lot of ambiguity to whether they did it, whether they put it there, where that trash bag come from. And sadly, some of these trash bags that you see out there, you see they had like an odd color to them. They came from a business. They may have come from a 7-Eleven or a Walgreens or something like that. That was their outdoor trash, their receptacle, and somehow that got lifted up, taken away, and thrown away somewhere else. So it's unnecessary.
Now we have had instances where there was some illegal dumping, in a creek adjacent to a apartment complex. Those are easy because those are usually resolved by city staff making positive communication with the property management folks, and just educating them to get the word out to those tenants that, hey, you don't have to do this. And maybe sometimes, it's a little more, more coordination with, sanitation if they need to do an extra run at some point in the week to pick something up. It's an easy solve. It's usually just getting the message out that, hey, we're all ears, so that this doesn't need to happen. And sometimes it's behind, some of our shopping areas too. Sometimes it's, sometimes it's the homeless, as you guys can see.
Is it too much for, how they have the surveillance cameras when they're trying to pick up wildlife out there?
Yeah.
And they just come back and check, is that somewhere in the line, is that possible for them to do?
I think there was one area that we were having a problem with, and I don't know if this predates before you started or not, but I think we set up some dummy cameras in an area to try and, what's the word, discourage, activity.
So the trail cameras are cheap.
Yep.
They're very cheap to buy a trail camera, and so I advise these small businesses when they have these illegal dumpings that happen inside their dumpsters or even just behind their building, put the trail cam up and put the flash on, and once that starts going off, people will stay away. And again, we'll catch that license plate, and we can send the PD team down there to start knocking on some doors. It's unfortunate that it has to come to that. And again, I don't think there's anybody that has an issue if somebody stops by their business and throws a bag of trash in a dumpster. I don't think anyone's freaking out about that.
Right.
The problem is when they decide that they're gonna put a chest freezer in their dumpster, which we had. And that just takes a lot of work.
Right.
But they put an entire chest freezer in someone's dumpster at a small business. And so, sanitation, special equipment has to come down there, pull that out. And, it was clear that the business owner didn't do it. So we didn't end up charging him, but in any other circumstance, when prohibited items are in there and they need to be cleaned out, they're gonna catch a charge. And so it's just hurting the business owners. That's just has second and third order effects to it that trickle down to everybody in the community. So we can charge them if we can catch them. If we can get people to invest in the trail cameras and put them up, great. But really I think it's vigilance of the neighbors around them. If someone just, saw, I'm sure we all do, there's a car in your neighborhood, everybody's car in the neighborhood, like that guy doesn't belong. So people start peeking their heads out. I think it just requires a little bit more of that. Someone just walk up and say, hey, what are you doing here? Why are you hanging out with our dumpster? And you can probably, thwart a lot of it.
Well, do we have any other discussions, anyone? Our next meeting will be Thursday, August 3rd at 6 p.m. and then October 5th and December 7th. So does anyone have a motion to adjourn?
A motion that we
Is there a second?
Second.